Nancy's speech today is to tell us who has made a difference in her life. Nancy, you have a wonderful ability to motivate and inspire people to improve both themselves and their online presence and financial situations. But how did you gain this motivational skill? Tell us someone who inspired you, changed you, and helped you to look at the world differently. Please help me welcome Nancy.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and honored guests. I think I'll start with a quote from Charles Dickens, A Tale of Two Cities. It was the best of times, it was the worst of times. It was the age of wisdom, it was the age of foolishness. It was the epoch of belief, it was the epoch of incredulity. It was the season of light, it was the season of darkness, and it was the spring of hope, and it was the winter of despair. Maybe you've had moments like that where it felt like it was the best and the worst of times. May I see any hands who can agree that there have been tough times? I've had them too. And over the years, I've invested meaningfully in mentorship programs with people with really big names. And I've learned a lot. But when it comes back to going to the go-to source who has been the inspiration for so much of my success over a pattern of 15 years, you know who it is? It's Jack Canfield. Jack Canfield. He wrote a book called The Success Principles, How to Get From Where You Are to Where You Want to Be. And I am an introvert, and I don't typically go to live events, and I don't love being part of a big, huge crowd. But there was something about this man that compelled me to want to show up in Bellevue at a conference center to hear what he had to say. And I'm not a groupie either, but when it came time for the event to be over and you had a chance to actually stand in line to spend your $20 to meet the man who wrote the book, I actually did that. And when I got my place in line, he looked up at me like he could see my soul. And he said, "And what is your name?" I said, "My name is Nancy." And he said, "It's so nice to meet you." And I believed him. I believed him. And so he signed the book. He signed the book. And you notice this book. Look at this. Can you tell that I've been reading it a lot over 15 years? And can you see the coffee stains on the back and the dog-eared pages? I mean, this has been like my success Bible for 15 years. And why is that? There's a very wise turn of phrase that one of my good friends has told me many times before. And she says, stop trying to make not your people your people. And sometimes there are mentors that you see across your internet front door that have value to share, but for some reason they don't resonate with you personally. But this gentleman's ability to help me feel seen, heard, and acknowledged just from the moment that we met caused me on a 15-year odyssey to learn everything I could from him. We're in the worst of times right now, and one of his success principles is drop out of the gosh ain't it awful club. If you find yourself hanging around with people that are complaining and miserable, you have to find yourself some new friends. So I have made it a practice to elevate who I get to hang out with so that I can keep my attitude positive even in the worst of times. Another of his principles is to learn more, to earn more. We're all in a situation where we once had to be in a live event, meeting each other knee to knee and toe to toe. And now we had to learn how to go virtual in a couple of days. We can all learn more to earn more and give more and contribute more. My favorite success principle from Jack Canfield is the one called practice the rule of 5. And what he says is that even the largest tree in the forest will come down at some point if you just take 5 swipes of an axe to it every single day. And so when I wrote one of my 3 books and I didn't know much about how to sell them, I sent my books out to 5 different podcasts every day, 5 different radio shows, 5 different television programs, and I made a pitch about why my book should be something that they would be proud to share with their audience, their viewers, their listeners. And what do you know? I got internet famous for one of my books, Bye Bye Boring Bio, simply by practicing the rule of 5. And now with new initiatives such as the one you see behind me, the Life Goes On Roadmap System for Personal Financial Information Organization, I'm doing it again. I send out 5 ships every day just to make sure that it happens. And if you don't send out ships, nothing will come back. But sometimes you send out a ship and a leading bank with branches all across America calls you back and says, let's co-brand your system, and then you have your opportunity to make your big difference. So have I met Jack Canfield in person? Yes. A couple of years ago, he came to Bellevue, and I went to meet him again. And I had the personal opportunity to tell him that how reading this book that had become my success Bible had changed me from someone who, nobody who knew my name, to someone who became quite famous and actually created quite a nice business for myself. And we posed for pictures. He saw me. And you know what? About 2 weeks ago, when I was feeling really blue about the COVID-19 situation, I thought, what would lift me up? I read the book again. I got the bright idea. What if I asked him if I could please interview him and share his message with my entire tribe? That was one of his other success principles. Ask for what you want. Keep aiming high. I reached out to his people. They wrote back to me. They said, we would be honored to have you interview Jack Canfield. What date will work for you? And so what I would say about the success principles is it's the best $20 that I've ever spent in 15 years in my professional development. The practicing the principles within this book have absolutely helped me accomplish magnificent things beyond what I thought I could achieve. And I'm still practicing those principles. And even though we've only met one time and corresponded by email, I feel that he's been with me every step of the way. Thank you so much, Madam Toastmaster, fellow guests, and honored members.
Thank you, Nancy. Wow, I'm so motivated. I love book recommendations, so I've been frantically writing. Timer, could we have a minute on the